Hello and welcome to 1-2 Bonin and Curriculum Night 2019-2020. Today I'll begin with a brief biography of myself. I'll go over our classroom rules and routines, communication between parents and the teacher, grade 1 and 2 outcomes, and homework. Hello again, my name is Justin Bonin and this is my 6th year at Chiboucto Heights. I have been teaching for 6 years and in that time I have taught grades primary, 1, and 2. I grew up in this community and went to Chiboucto Heights as a child. This school holds a special place in my heart and I am looking forward to a great year together. We have a couple rules and routines to go over. First one is the golden rule, which is treat others the way you want them to treat you, or the way you want to be treated. This is broken down into 3 sections: respect others, respect yourself, and respect the classroom and the property of others. This really is the only rule we have because it covers them all. The gem jar is my reward system that I use for the whole class. The purpose of the gem jar is to encourage students to follow the golden rule and support each other in all ways possible. This is both in the classroom, outside at recess, and outside at lunch. For example, if a student notices that another student is not following the expectations of the teacher, they could kindly remind them to do what they are forgetting to do. What's important about this is that we win as a team and we lose as a team. We're not trying to single others out, but instead we are working together so we can do better each day. When students follow the golden rule, respect and support others, follow teacher expectations, and take risks in their learning, they get to add gems to the jar. When the opposite happens, gems are taken out. Each time the gem jar is filled, the class earns a special reward. We are currently working towards earning a gum day. Learning from our mistakes. I think this is so important. I always tell my students that no one is perfect and we all make mistakes. That includes teachers. There are 3 things to remember when it comes to mistakes. We all make mistakes. We should never be afraid to make mistakes, but instead be brave and take risks. And finally, we learn from our mistakes. This allows us to improve and do better the next time around. I tell the students all the time, practice makes you better and your best is perfect. Speaking French in class. This is also very important. It all begins by developing that oral French and that French vocabulary. Then we transition into writing and reading. We are slowly working our way up to all French using our reward system. I briefly explained how this works, but if a student is caught speaking English by me or another student, they're told they spoke in English and they'll lose one of their 3 tokens. At the end of the day, if they have at least 1 token left, they'll get a stamp. If not, they'll get a sad face. Every 10 days, students who got their stamp at least 70% of the days, so 7 out of the 10 days. Sometimes I'll change this. Right now we're working on 6 out of 10. They'll get to pick a prize from my special prize room. The goal is not to single out other students, but instead to support each other as we work together to learn a new language. If you would like to send in old toys, books, movies, etc. that you have at home for us to use as prizes, that would be greatly appreciated. Students all got to pick a prize today. They were super excited and they worked very hard. So we're looking forward to another great round of this. All my lessons follow the workshop model. This begins with a brief mini lesson. This is short and concise, 10 minutes or less, on a specific topic or concept. The second part is practice. This is where students take what I taught them in that mini lesson and will take 10 to 25 minutes to practice what they are doing. I'm not a big fan of worksheets and I also prefer doing hands-on activities that get them moving and interacting with others. The final part is the share. I do this in a variety of ways, but essentially this is where students have the chance to show what they learned and what they've worked on, and learn from their friends. Flexible seating and movement breaks. I believe that in order for students to be successful, they must feel safe and comfortable. In order to focus on their work, they must also learn how to control their energy and their emotions. For those reasons, all of my seating is flexible. There are no assigned seats and students are allowed to switch between different types as they choose. When it comes to picking a seat, students are encouraged to consider 2 things. Their energy level, for example, if they have high energy at that moment, We should use a seat like the yoga balls or our wobble stools, which will give them a chance to move around and get some of that energy out. Secondly, they need to think about their focus level. If they're feeling a little unfocused, they could go and do some mindfulness, which we'll talk about in the next slide. Or they can ensure that they're sitting away from students or large groups of students that may cause a distraction. Flexible seating and movement breaks. In addition to being able to move in their seats, I also think it is very important to break up the day with special movement breaks. These include but are not limited to stretching, Zumba, and guided exercise. Mindfulness is something new that I'm adding to my approach this year. This encourages students to listen to their bodies and become mindful of what they are feeling and doing. This provides students with useful skills to stay focused and on task, as well as how to handle stress and conflict in positive and responsible ways. Again, this is something new. We're learning this together, but I really think this is worth it. And hopefully soon we'll have an event where you guys can all come in and do this with us. Communication between parents and the teacher. Communication is key. The best way to get in touch with me or to find out what's going on is by looking in your child's pirate binder every night. All notices go home in the front left pocket of the binder, and this is also where you can put any forms reminding that you are returning or sending in. This will also be where you'll find homework and other useful activities and tools to help you. The second best way to contact me is through Class Dojo. You can download the app for your Android or iPhone, or access it on a desktop or laptop computer. If there is ever an important announcement that I was not able to put in the pirate binders, I will post it here on Class Dojo in our class story. You can also communicate with me by sending private messages, and you should check this regularly for updates and photos of what we are doing and working on in class, so you can keep up to date with what we're learning. Finally, you may also reach me by phone or email. You can call the school at 902-479-4298 and just leave a message for me, or you can, of course, reach me by email. Grade 1 and 2 curriculum. Integrated French Language Arts. There are 4 branches of French language arts: appreciation of language and culture, speaking and listening, reading and writing. Social studies, health, science, and technology outcomes are covered during French language arts time, particularly through reading and writing activities. There are 5 branches in the grade 2 math curriculum and 4 in the grade 1 math curriculum. These include number sense, patterns and relations, measurement, and geometry. The grade 2s will also work on statistics and probability. The new curriculum has a strong focus on number sense to allow students to build a strong foundation in number sense. Rather than sending homework every night, it will go home every few weeks and will include more than enough activities to fill that amount of time. There will be 2 dividers in the back of your child's pirate binder. One section will be for literacy activities and the other for math. All homework activities are based on topics already covered in class and provide the opportunity for students to share what they are learning with those at home and to develop a better understanding of the content by sharing and teaching it to their friends and family. I understand that everyone is busy and it's not always possible to make time for homework. I encourage you to do your best, but I send home plenty of activities, and the expectation is not for you to complete all of it, rather for you to have a variety of activities you can do at home and complete at your own pace. You don't have to return them to me. They can stay in there. You can take them out and work on them when you have time. Thank you for your time. If you ever have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me, or tonight you can come and find me in the room. Have a great day, and thanks for coming.